for a small amount of money. Taxes, if you're trading, are you getting destroyed by taxes? Would you be better off building a strategy that's more tax efficient? For example, in Germany, I think it is, you do not get taxed on capital gains if you hold it for longer than a year. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Might have to Google that. But like, for example, in Germany, a better strategy would be something maximizing for removing that taxation. So maybe a more investing strategy versus trading. And the EV, so expected value. After factoring in all the above information, what is the expected value of implementing the strategy? How much do you expect to make? Over 100 sample size, right? So let me give you an example of applying all of that into the Hunter algorithms, right? Hunter algorithms, let me show you this one. Oops, already on the right chart. So I've been designing the system since August 2021. I've got 2 full-time developers building it. We've been refining it ever since. It's been live for 2 years. It's been pretty accurate. We've been updating the data sets, randomly whenever we feel like we need to make the system better. And it's been performing really well. And we've done a bunch of tests, back testing, forward testing, all that shit. So let me tell you what happened. So the entry and exit criteria is basically the buy and sell signals, right? What's the criteria? Well, we need negative funding. That's number 1. We also need price to go below these moving averages. So that's criteria 2. And there's also some very specific criteria which I can't tell you that is more fine-grained and specific, okay? What's the exit criteria? Same thing, above red and positive funding. Now, as well as this, we also have like 5, 10, we have like at any given time 5 to 10 other data sets that we use as confluence alongside this algo. So this algo will say buy, and then we check with all the other data and we see how high confidence of a signal is this, okay? Now, the validation and invalidation criteria, this is more on the coin side. So let's say we use this to buy Ethereum or Solana. Maybe Solana is getting outcompeted by new coins. Maybe we want to own a different coin instead of Solana, right? That would be the invalidation, validation sort of thing. Is the Solana thesis worth, holding this coin for, or has the thesis been invalidated? Win rate, 84%, like we talked about before. Risk to reward, we don't really calculate that because it's more an investing strategy. Back testing, it's been accurate for 6 years. If you look back here, we actually back tested it. So you can see it's been pretty good for a long time, even during the bull market. Forward testing, it's been around for, 84% accuracy since we made it. Pretty good for a forward tested investing system. Scalability, I mean, you can use it on Bitcoin, which is obviously super liquid, so it's very scalable. Taxes, okay, so one variable here is that this algo shows you how to compound your money, but if you're in a shitty tax country, you would probably not want to be compounding. You would just want to be holding. So it depends on your situation. And EV, we've never really calculated because it's more an investing system. It's not super important, but we have made a bunch of money following this, okay? So, now, the ultimate goal of all of this data that we just went over is to basically remove this, right? There's 4 outcomes in markets. Win small, win big, lose small, lose big. Of all that data I just showed you, everything that we do building strategy, all we try to do is basically just not lose a lot of money. Losing a little bit of money is inevitable. You can never always win. Your win rate is never 100%. Winning big is what you want to maximize for. You want to win big as big as possible. And winning small is okay. That comes sometimes as well. So all a good risk management strategy does is just cut out the big loss, right? That's how crypto works and how markets work. Now, I know we just got super nerdy and this sounds like an absolute pain in the ass. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to do all this? Oh my God. Just a heads up, not every strategy needs to be super numbers oriented. Doesn't have to be as data backed. It can be a lot simpler. Okay, some money-making strategies are so nascent and emerging that there can't really be a number-backed system. Also, sometimes people can get an edge in the market, which is a lot less data-backed and a lot more maybe alpha-backed. So, for example, you're friends with the founder of a project. He shares with you information before they release it. I guess that's sort of like insider trading, could be considered illegal, but that is an edge. That is a strategy. Okay, it is, and you don't need data to back that. So that's just a disclaimer, right? So for example, with trading, you must have a clear strategy. You have to. It has to be super specific, everything mapped out. It's the most anal thing ever, okay? All the numbers have to be measured. You got to track every trade, journal, data, everything, okay? But with airdrop farming, I would say it's half-half. So there's no exact system for airdrop farming because a lot of the variables are unknown. Like, they don't tell you that they're dropping a token. They don't tell you how to get an airdrop. So you have to guess what to do. You have to guess what the system is, right? You have to guess. You have to make it up. What's the strategy? You have to make it up. So what we mainly do with my airdrop farming is we minimize the fees. We only do airdrops we think are going to make lots of money. We automate it so that there's no human time loss. And we come up with estimates that help us determine what the best airdrops are. Okay? That's basically as far as we can go in terms of a system. Now, the strategy, the edge is in the automation. The automation is the biggest edge that we have. And it's also in my ability to find projects that I think are going to do big airdrops. Okay? So that's what I would say the two biggest strategies are. The two biggest edges are. Okay? And you also need to understand that the better you become at crypto, the less you need to follow exactly a strategy. Like when you're trading, for example, sometimes your strategy says hold this long open, but your intuition says no, you close this. Sometimes you just got to listen to your intuition, but you only get that intuition when you get highly skilled, right? Skill level high, less importance to just exactly follow a system. If you're a beginner investor, the most important thing that you can do for your investing is to exactly follow someone else's system, right? You don't know what the fuck you're doing, so you need to follow what someone else is doing, right? That's the key. It's super important. But as you get better, not as important. But still very important, okay? When you're a beginner, you don't have pattern recognition. We've gone over this earlier in the course. You don't have intuition. You don't have the ability to make neutral decisions. You're going to be emotional. First, the system forces you to execute appropriately. As you become better over multiple market cycles, you'll find that you become less reliant on data to make decisions. A natural intuition will form where after viewing data, your decision making is determined by the gut instinct to a large degree. Okay? Having a proper system is still important regardless of skill level, but with the real edge with pros is their discernment from intuition. Okay? The best traders, the best investors in the world can figure out if an investment is good or not within 30 seconds. And I've already gone over this earlier in the course. It's one of the videos. Which one was it called? I think it's called Pattern Recognition Database. That one's super interesting. This is what all the pros do. They can tell if something is good or bad within 30 seconds. And that intuition becomes their edge, right? The intuition is the strategy, right? When you implement a strategy, you gain an intuition for when, for example, right? Let's imagine strategy is language, right? French. Imagine you can't speak French. You learn French by reading it and speaking it. And when you can speak French, you don't need to learn it anymore. You don't need to copy the French. When you speak to someone, you don't need to look at a book anymore. Oh, how do I speak French? No, you can just speak French. You just know French. You don't need to learn French anymore. It's like with a strategy. When you first implement it, you have to read it like a book, like you don't know how to do it. Once you've got the strategy downloaded into your head, a large degree of the process is just, you don't need anything outside of yourself, right? And this is an edge that a lot of the pros have, especially more so in investing. They look at investments and they can just tell because they've downloaded the strategy into their head, right? And they've downloaded it in the form of intuition, okay? Subconscious. Can't be coded. You can't code intuition, okay? Now, I want to take you to... Okay, let's read this first. Yes, a system can be as simple as I implement another professional system alongside him. So yeah, your system can just be copy me, right? That can be your system as long as you copy everything I do. Now, you know, that's more referring to like my mastermind. If you want to copy me, that is a system, right? You don't have to build all this shit. I know it probably fucking bores. This is probably boring all you guys so much. But anyway, let's get to the exciting part. Here is my strategies, okay? I have 4 main strategies, I would say. So my edge is I have 2 full-time developers who find the best data in crypto that I know is good, and we use it to determine when the market is in fear and in greed. We also use our own intuition to determine when to buy. And the goal is that we want to capture 6/8 of a trend, so buy Bitcoin low, sell Bitcoin towards the end of the bull run. And we use my fundamental analysis framework to select my investments. So are we going to go heavier into Bitcoin this cycle, heavier into Solana? You know, what is the play? Second edge is pre-sales. So basically, we invest into startups early in the bull market or late in the bear market when the valuations are lowest. And the goal is that we exit during the bull run. Okay, that's an edge. We get access to the best deal flow. Edge number 3, automated airdrop farming. So we find uncrowded, high market cap potential projects with a high chance of doing an airdrop, and we auto farm them with as low of a cost as possible. That's a strategy. That's my edge. And another one, I would say my other edge is 100x shitcoining. So it's basically using my fundamental analysis framework that I give you guys in this course to find 5 to 100 million market cap coins within an emerging narrative with a solid team, and you hold these through the course of a bull run. Okay? My strategy here is actually very similar, and I've referenced this picture a couple times now. It's very similar to Mikey's strategy, right? He does fundamental analysis on altcoins. He enters sizable positions with conviction, and they're all within a $5 to $100 million market cap, and he just sits on his hands for 2 years. And I've found that this strategy works for me. For example, in the last bull run, I rode Solana from $7 to $250, and I sold half at the top, and I should have sold the rest, but I didn't. In this bull run, so far, it's pretty early days, but Toshi, at a $2.5 million market cap, it's now at 67. Hopefully riding this one to $1 billion market cap, okay? I used my fundamental analysis framework that I teach you guys to buy this one low, and I just hold it, and I don't do anything, okay? So that's just to give you an example. Now, that is everything in relation to the importance of a strategy and an edge, and to give you an overview of mine. I know this is sort of the boring part of the course, but this stuff is really, really important. Later on in the next videos, I'm going to go over what you should do to basically have your own strategy. Just to summarize, there's 2 main paths. You either follow the pro or you become the pro. So you either implement my strategies by joining my mastermind, you get access to all of these, all of these, or you can, I guess, create your own. So I've given you the fundamental analysis framework. You can use this framework as a strategy to pick the right coins, right? You obviously have to do the research yourself, but you can use my framework as a strategy, right? Long-term investing. I'm going to tell you how I made my system, and I'm going to tell you a lot of how my strategy works. So you can sort of copy mine and make your own, right? So you can do pretty well by yourself here, but if you want it to be simplified, you can just join the mastermind, right? Now, I think that's the end of this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.